Hello friends, this will be everything you need to know before Good Girls Season 4. Alright, let's go! The series follows three mothers who are desperate for money in order to get by in life. First we have Beth, who's married to Dean, who's a piece of garbage because he's put them in a lot of debt and he cheated on his wife. Next we have her younger sister Annie, who's recently divorced and is fighting for custody for her daughter Sadie. And finally we have Ruby, who's married to Stan, and they have a daughter together by the name of Sarah, who is in need of an expensive medical procedure. And that brings us to the main plot of the story, which is that Beth, Annie, and Ruby robbed the store that Annie was working at, but it turns out the person that they actually robbed was a gang member by the name of Rio. And not only is he angry, but Annie's boss by the name of Boomer wants nothing else but to see Annie fall. So he goes to the FBI telling them that Annie is a bad person, even though he's human garbage. Anyways, the girls start working for Rio because they like the money that they're getting from him, and their job is basically to clean the money, since Rio's money is fake money. And this eventually leads to the girls creating a fake business to clean the money faster. The business also involved the mothers in the neighborhood in order to clean the money, but the mothers didn't know that the money that they were using was fake, except for one woman by the name of Mary Pat. After finding out that the money is fake, she blackmails Ruby, Annie, and Beth, making them pay her weekly in order to keep her mouth shut, and eventually the three couldn't keep up with her demands, which leads to Boomer finding out that Mary Pat is involved with the three girls. He then slithers his way into Mary Pat's life before Mary Pat realizes he's a bad man. Eventually Ruby pays for her daughter to get the procedure, and that's around the time where everything goes crazy. You see, Ruby, Annie, and Beth realize that they need to get away from Rio, so they fake a robbery, leaving a note for the FBI that would implicate Rio. The plan works and Rio's arrested, but before Beth can rest easy, Rio somehow gets out, holds a gun to Dean, and forces Beth to choose if she should shoot Dean or Rio. And at this point in time, both Dean and Stan knows that their wives are involved with the gang. And also, Stan is now a police officer. Season 2 starts off with Rio taking the gun from Beth and shooting Dean himself, but sadly he lives. And after a while, Rio and Beth wrestle naked. But that's not important. What's important is that the FBI this season is actually pretty good. They actually build a strong case against the girls for two main reasons. The first reason being that Annie gets a new boyfriend by the name of Noah, who actually turns out to be an undercover FBI agent.
They always are.
The second reason is actually a little more complicated, but this is basically what happened. While Annie, Ruby, and Beth continue to work for Rio on and off, Mary Pat, who was forced to marry Boomer, runs him over because he's a piece of garbage, but sadly, he doesn't die. And after a while of Ruby, Annie, and Beth going back and forth about being criminals or not, the FBI decides to arrest Beth for counterfeit bills. But after being unsuccessful, Rio captures the FBI agent that's in charge of the case, called Jimmy Turner, and much like the end of season 1, he forces Beth to choose between Agent Turner and him. But luckily this time Beth shoots Rio, and he should die from this, but who knows. Anyways, a few days later, Agent Turner comes over to Beth and tells her that he's dropping all the charges against her because she saved his life. And that finally brings us to season 3. In season 3, we find out that Rio didn't die after being shot by Beth, but instead he was saved by the dummy Agent Turner.
You idiot.
And Rio shows him exactly why he's a dummy, because Rio kills him right after he recovers and goes back to tormenting Beth, Annie, and Ruby, who have started to print their own perfect counterfeit money. And it's so perfect that the authorities get involved once again. And the main one to focus on is Phoebe, because she knows about the operation that the girls are running, but she just can't prove it yet, because I'm pretty sure Ruby, Beth, and Annie are using ClickUp to run their business, which is a tool that helps you set reminders, manage a team, and even make to-do lists, so that nobody ever forgets that the end goal is to get away from Rio. And with just $5, you could get unlimited storage and a ton of other perks. Link is down below. On a side note, Stan is working security and is now slowly getting into crime with the girls that he's supposed to protect. Annie gets a therapist and the two fall for each other, and Beth and Dean buy a hot tub business. But with Rio constantly putting pressure on Beth, she is forced to tell Rio about the hot tub business and is given more money to clean, which is not good, so Beth orders a hitman to kill Rio. But before we can see if the hitman is actually going to kill Rio or not, the season ends with Phoebe introducing herself to Beth, Ruby, and Annie. And yeah, I hope I answered all your questions, but if you have any more, be sure to leave a comment. That's it. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you liked that video and want to see more like it, leave a like and subscribe. Adios.